Hi, this is Lauren from LSP Actions and welcome to the video tutorial for the LSP Real Rabbit Overlay Collection for Photoshop. Your download contains 45 real rabbits shot in my studio, ready masked with transparent backgrounds, a bonus Photoshop action set to help you apply and blend the bunnies to your images, and some Photoshop brushes too for extra masking around grass, flicati, fluff, fur and more. And this set enables you to easily add these darling rabbits to your images using Photoshop without the risk of bringing live animals into your studio. So let's get started with the tutorial. Upon downloading from the LSP Actions website, you'll notice that the LSP Bunny Complete Kit is a zip file. If you're on Mac, you need to use Archive utility to unzip this and get inside. If you're on Windows, you need to right-click and choose Extract All. So go ahead, open up this folder, and inside you will notice you have the bunny overlays and the actions and brushes. If you open up the bunny overlays, you will see here you have 45 different bunnies as PNG high-res images to drop into your image in Photoshop. In your other folder, you will have your actions and brushes, an installation guide and your user agreement. So let's get started first with installing the actions into Photoshop. You simply need to have Photoshop open. Here it is open in the background. I'm using Creative Cloud, but this also works with CS4, CS5, CS6 and Elements 14+. So you simply need to double click the Photoshop actions and these will load into Photoshop. If you don't see your actions palette, you can come up to Window and choose Actions and you will see them appear here. If they look grey like this is editing mode. You can simply come up to the little burger menu up here on the Actions panel and choose Button Mode, and you will see them all in colour-coded one-click order. If they look a little all over the place like this, you can just grab the actions and pull it in until it snaps into a neat column. And the same with the brushes. You just need to double-click and that will be installed into Photoshop. And I will show you how to use those brushes a little bit later when we get editing. So first of all, what you need to do is open up your image in Photoshop that you'd like to add the bunny to by coming up to File and choosing Open. I'm going to open up a dark studio image for this one. And I'm going to show you how to add a few bunnies in. So the step one, using the actions, of course you can add the bunnies manually, you don't have to use the actions. If you're using an editing software other than Photoshop, you can add them in manually and edit there. But I'm going to be using the actions, complementary actions that come with the set. If you want to add manually, you can come up to File, hit Place Embedded and choose the bunny image that you want. But with the actions, all you need to do is hit Step 1, choose the bunny, and go ahead, open up the bunnies, wherever you have extracted the files to, and choose which one you'd like to add to your image first. Let's go for this guy here. So hit the bunny and hit place and you will notice the bunny appears into your image, and you can simply drag and resize to suit. Now these bunnies were shot with the light to camera right. If you shoot with the light to camera left, you're going to want to take this extra step here, sorry I'm tripping over my words, this extra step of right clicking and choosing flip horizontal to make sure the lighting matches. So resize the bunny in, don't make the bunnies too small in your image because you know, bunnies are a little bit smaller than a cat really, standing height, so you know, kind of use that point of reference if you're not used to working with rabbits. Add it in and hit enter. And you will see up here in your layers panel, if you cannot see your layers panel, it's quite important that you have it open, so come up here to Windows and choose layers if you can't see your layers panel. And you will see you have your bunny up here with a white layer mask next to it. The layer mask means it is completely visible. If the layer mask is black, that means it's hidden. It's kind of like a scratch card, but I'll talk to you a little bit more about layer masks in a moment. After you've added and sized your bunny in, the next step is to choose Blend the Bunny. And what this will do is set up a multitude of layers above and around your bunny that you can simply use a white brush on those black layer mask boxes to paint on. So make sure you have a white brush selected. So right click, choose a soft brush on 100% opacity and go around 25% flow. You don't want it to be too full on with your brush because you want to be able to build it up. You can use the left and right bracket keys to change your brush size if you want to. Now you notice the first layer selected is here, add shadows under or around the bunny. So you can add a little bit of shading behind the bunny or in front. If you add too much, you can simply switch between your black and a white brush here. Black means hide, white means show. Or you can hit X on the keyboard to switch between black and white. So I like to have my finger on X as I'm using these masks. You also have options to lift the shadows, brighten the bunny, add shadows to the bunny, darken the rabbit, brighten up the eyes, hazy lighten up and contrast. So let's start going through these. I'm going to add some shadow to the rabbit here because I need to darken the bunny down to suit this image. Please darken the rabbit too. Perhaps a little contrast. So you can just click on the black boxes and just start adding this in to kind of blend the bunny with the lighting in your image. That's the first step. You can also click anywhere here and add your own editing layers to the bunny to edit further. By coming down here, this little half and half circle gives you all these different options for adjustment. So say for example I'm going to add a levels layer in, and you can play with this too, and you'll notice it's only affecting the bunny and not the whole image. So I'm just going to darken this bunny down a little more to suit this image. And close that. But of course you can use your own hand editing, you can use the actions, you can use a mix of the two if you want to. And the next step is to choose edit the tones and texture layers. So I've just clicked on that one, you'll notice it's playing out, and this is going to add some extra layers in there so I can change the colour of the bunny a little bit, I can tweak it to suit my image a little more if needed. And you'll notice these appear as yellow layers here. So we have soft bunny fur, we can sharpen the bunny up a little bit if we wanted to. A cooler toner, which I'm going to use for this image because this image is quite cool toned. Or alternatively you have the warm toner, can make the bunny more grey, whiten up. March hare brown, I may add a little bit of brown in here. I'm just going to take the opacity of the cool toner down a touch. You can see I'm just painting these on to suit the image. Add a little more darkening under the feet here. So there's one bunny added in, and once you've done all the layers, you've added everything you want to add in, you can choose all done, flatten the bunny, and what this will do, it will turn bunny into one single layer there. Add it in. And then you have these extra bunny tweaks. You have darken, lighten, contrast, and these are just in one click. So I can click this, and zoom in on bunny, I'll show you. For example, lighten, I can click this a few times and you'll see it's lightening the bunny up. I can undo these steps, you can add contrast, undo it, you can add a matte effect, and you can also add a blur. So if you've got a shallow depth of field in your image, you can start painting on some blur onto your bunny if you wanted to. Just going to take that out of the way. So let's add another bunny in. So again, step one, choose the bunny. Let's go for this little guy peeping over the top here. And I'm going to add him, I think, into the crate. So again, just as before, I'm going to resize and move around a little. And hit enter. And the next step, play the blend the bunny, like I did the first time. Now we can edit this guy a little more. So with the white brush selected, I'm going to add a little shadow underneath the bunny. And I'm going to add some shadow to the bunny here. You see I'm just clicking on these black layer mask boxes with a white brush. Add a little shadow. I'm going to go for the even darker shadow here. Tweak bunny down to make sure they're sitting nicely in there. I grab a black brush, set to hard, and I'm just going to stroke the brush along here just to kind of mask the bunny a little bit better into this crate. And again, when you're done, choose flatten the bunny layers. And I'm going to add a blur to this bunny, and I'm just going to add a little bit of softness here, just around this edge, just to soften up. You can right click and merge this down just to keep things neat if you want to, or you can leave it intact, it's entirely up to you. Let's add another bunny. And this time I'm going to add one into that top crate, so I think I'm going to go for this little guy here. He looks like he'd be cute poking out. So I'm just going to resize him down, and I'm going to mask him off here so it looks like he's poking out the top there. So just hit enter, zoom in. I'm going to select a black brush on a higher flow, and I'm simply just going to paint him away here so it looks like he's inside that crate. The great thing about masking is the bunny is still there, you're not actually erasing anything. So with your finger on X you can simply switch between a black brush or a white brush. So I'm on white now, I'm painting him back in again. Black to white, black to white. Black means hide, white means show. It really is that simple. So I'm using a white brush now just to kind of blend him in here, deciding what I would like to show. I want him to be behind this little layer of fabric. And now I'm going to play step 2, blend the bunny layers, which sets up all those lighting layers. It's landed on add shadow. Oh, I'm just going to take the flow back down at the top. So I'm going to add a little bit of, soften the brush too. A little bit of shadow in here. And I'm also going to add some shadow to the bunny and perhaps darken down a little there. Don't think we need any contrast for this bunny. Now I'm going to play step 3, edit the tones and the textures, which is going to give me some toning options like it did for these guys too. In the yellow here, so let's soften that fur just a little and perhaps add some sharpness to the face. And I'm going to add a little of the cool toner again to this bunny, just to match the tones of this image because it's quite a cool looking image. We still have all the lighting actions here too, so I'm going to use a little more darken, I think, there. So you can just click through these, adding as required. And again, when you're done, you can flatten the bunny and it'll flatten into one layer. Now this bunny here I feel maybe is a touch too big, perhaps. So you can simply click on here, hold down Control or Command T to transform, and you can resize if needed. You can still move these bunnies around everywhere you want because they're non-destructive to your background layer. So you can simply play and play and play until you're happy, until it looks right. I'm just going to move him along just a little bit, I think. About there. Let's add another bunny in. Okay, so this time I'm going to choose, let's choose Opal and pop her in here. These are real bunnies. Each one was a rescue bunny. Let's pop her down here looking up at the other guys. And again, hit enter. Step 2, blend the bunny, again with the lighting layers so I can add some shadowing around the bottom of her. Lands on add shadows under or around the bunny, so I'm just going to add a little shadowing in there. I'm going to click on add shadow to the bunny and just shade in the back end. Edit the tones and textures when you're done. And I'm just going to cool her down a little bit. And again, flatten when you're done. And because these are all still in their individual layers, you just can keep tweaking and playing and deciding exactly where you want to place these bunnies, wherever works best for you and your image. Edge that down. So that's how to get started and add the bunnies in Photoshop using the actions. You can watch video number 2 where I add the bunnies to a light airy studio image and I use the brushes to mask in. So you can watch that one to mask a fluffy floor and a fluffy ground around the bunny using the brushes. Or if you'd like to see how to add the rabbits to an outdoors image and mask the grass around the rabbit's feet, please do watch video number 3. I'm Lauren, thanks for watching.